What's up, everybody? It's Jesse from Island Aesthetics. Thanks for checking back into the channel. Today, we're going to be getting my winter wheels cleaned and ceramic coated and ready for the seasonal changeover. It's October right now. The leaves are starting to change colors, fall to the ground. The temperatures are definitely cooling off a little bit. And it won't be long, within the next couple of weeks, where it's not really going to be a good idea for me to drive with my summer tires. Now, for a long time, what I did was I changed summer tires and winter tires on and off of my stock set of wheels. I just kind of got tired of doing that and eventually bought myself a dedicated set of winter tires. All right, so I keep those on my stock wheels. I keep my Apex wheels right here with summer tires on them, but these are designed to operate at temperatures above 55 degrees. And so as it starts to dip lower and lower towards that mark, I want to make sure that my winter wheels are prepped and ready to go. So let me actually spin the camera around and show you guys what we're going to be dealing with. So these here are the OEM Subaru wheels that came on my WRX. They're an 18-inch wheel. They've got the Michelin X-Ice i3 tires on them. And again, this is a dedicated tire compound specifically for colder temperatures below 55 degrees. Now, I did clean these before I put them away last time I changed to my summer wheels. But you can see just from storage, they've definitely collected some dust and dirt, spider webs in there, things like that. So I want to get this all cleaned up and prepped before I put a fresh layer of ceramic coating on them. Tires just kind of need to get a good rinsing here. All right, we're going to do inside the barrel as well. You can see I've got some old adhesive here from wheel weights. So I'm going to see if we can get some of that off too. I'm not trying to, polish this thing into a diamond by any means. They are my winter wheels, but I do want to get them cleaned, decontaminated, and a fresh layer of ceramic coating on them. I got my cart packed up here. I'm going to wheel this thing outside, go over a little bit of the products and items that we're going to be using to get everything cleaned, and then go through the process itself. So here we go. She went for me slowly. She pushing up on me, and she act like she know me, and I'm playing along. Okay, so wheels are out. I've obviously got a hose out. You're gonna need some water for this, but just a couple of basics in terms of chemicals and products. So when I'm prepping wheels for a ceramic coating, the main three I'm gonna be using are number one, Meguiar's Wheel Brightener. It's an acidic wheel cleaner, so it packs quite a punch. I dilute it at a ratio of about 4:1. So I'm not using it full strength unless I have some really like thrashed wheels. But these wheels I know have a history of being well maintained. It's mostly just accumulated, dust and dirt and, maybe some leftover stuff from last season. But I'm not gonna try and get cute with the non-acid stuff that I normally use. I'm just gonna hit it with the strongest thing that I can because I also wanna make sure that I break down as much of the old protection as possible. There might be a couple of other things on the wheel. Tar-X by CarPro. This is great for any like tar or if there's like asphalt stuck there. You saw I had some of the old adhesive from the wheel weights, so it's going to come in handy for that stuff. And then in my IK sprayer here, I have an iron remover. This is the Glassparency iron remover, but any iron remover or any sort of like citrus-based kind of tar geared product or tar specific, tar and adhesive specific product will do just fine. The tires don't need much more than a rinse, but if there is any old remaining tire dressing there or some other grime, I do have some degreaser here. This is the P&S Tempest degreaser, which is also diluted at 4:1. So that's going to help me get the wheels clean to start. Once we're done with that, I have a panel prep. So just as I would do if I was ceramic coating any of the painted parts of the car, we're going to do a panel prep and make sure that there's no chemicals, oily residues, things like that. And then lastly will be the ceramic coating itself. All right, so I have the Glassparency ceramic coating with graphene technology. Yes, it is a paint coating and it's not a specific wheel coating. I have used some specific wheel coatings in the past, but I only need the coating to work for a couple of months throughout the winter, and I coat them year over year anyway. And so this does the job just fine. All right. So what I'm going to do is just kind of set these wheels up to get clean, turn the camera around for you guys, and show you a little bit about the wash process. first things first, I just want to assess what's there. It's always good to look over everything before you're going to clean it. As you can see, it's mostly just loose dirt and debris that we're going to be washing off here. Some spider webs. When we spin the wheels around, we're going to get in there for the wheel weights. But I don't think there's anything out of the ordinary here. However, I do want to just rinse off with water as much as possible before we get into any chemicals there, because by releasing that dirt and debris, it's less stuff for the brushes to pick up and move around, which could potentially scratch the finish of the wheel. So just a quick pre-rinse to start things off, and then we'll come in with the first chemical. All right, so the first thing I like to come in with is the iron remover. I don't think I'm going to need to use much of this. You definitely want to gauge it based on your wheels and how they look. If you see more browning on the wheels itself, that's a good indicator that you have more metal deposits. But anytime you're ceramic coating something, I do like to make sure that there are no iron deposits in the paint, or just generally anything that could interfere. So I'm not going to go overboard with the iron remover, but I do want to spray it on there. And if there is any iron present, this chemical will actually turn purple, and that'll be a good indication that there actually was some metal particles there. So we'll get these wheels covered and see what it looks like. Now, what you want to do with the iron remover is you want to give it a little bit of time to dwell. You can usually see that purple reaction occurring in as little as 15 or 30 seconds. However, the less iron that's there, the less purple reaction you are to see, and so you might just have to keep an eye out for it. But if nothing's there, get it rinsed off, and if there is stuff there, then you want to give it some time to dwell and let that purple reaction kind of play out, and that metal particle that's left behind will really start to oxidize and make the cleaning easier. So you can see right here, we've got a little bit of that purple reaction there, just in a few spots. It's kind of hard to see, but definitely in the lug nut recesses right here. Okay, a little bit here. So kind of as I suspected, there's really not much. This wheel looks a little bit better. You do tend to see more of that purple reaction on the front wheels on most cars because they tend to have bigger brakes, and so it generates more brake dust. But there's very little, next to nothing going on with each wheel. So I'm going to come in right away after just a few seconds and get this rinsed off. So I've done the iron decontamination. Like I said, there wasn't much there. The next thing I would do is feel around the lips, any of like the faces or the spokes, and see if your fingers pick up any like little nubs, right? They'll just look like black spots. That's usually a sign of like tar or something like sticky on the wheel. These actually feel pretty good, aside from the typical 80,000 miles worth of maybe the occasional rock chip here. There's a little bit of dirt in there we're going to try and get after. I actually don't think I'm going to need to do anything with the tar and adhesive remover on the outside part of the wheel. However, I definitely expect to do a little bit of it on the inner part of the wheel when I spin these around and hit the barrels, because I'm definitely going to need to address that adhesive from the wheel weights. But all in all, the wheels feel good. What I'm going to do next then is just get into my traditional cleaning. And so we're going to hit the outside wall of the tires with the degreaser and just give them a quick scrub. We're going to use the Meguiar's wheel brightener on the main part of the wheel and give it a little bit of an agitation. And then we're going to rinse everything off, spin them around, and we'll start the backside.
Now she act like she want me, if she pushing up on me, and she like karaoke, so she singing along. She got me in a hypnosis.
So a couple of quick things that you saw there. One, for the tires, I use this stiff bristled brush just to kind of agitate the sidewalls of the rubber. And then this lug nut brush from Synergy Works is a lot more gentle in terms of the bristles here. And so I use that to agitate around the emblem and in the lug nut recesses and just kind of the main parts of the wheel. So now that that's done, we're gonna give these a rinse and then flip them around.
She got me in a hypnosis. She got me in a...
All right, so for this part, we're gonna do the back of the wheel and the back of the tire, just kind of lean them up against my garage door. Now you wanna be careful with this, obviously. Be careful with your garage door. If you're spraying chemicals in this direction, be sure nothing like sits on your garage door. All those like common sense warnings apply here. Now, as we take a look in here, you can see the inside of the wheel is definitely not the pretty part of the wheel. You know, we might see some of these brown spots turn really purple when we hit them with the iron remover, if those are in fact some deep iron deposits. We'll see about this adhesive here. It's actually kind of coming up already, so hopefully it doesn't give me too much of an issue trying to get these off. These are old adhesives from when I used to do the constant changeover, summer tire, winter tire, summer tire, winter tire. Every time I do that, they have to rebalance and mount the tires again. So that's one of the other benefits of having two sets of wheels, is you don't have to keep balancing and mounting your tires over and over again. But you can see what we're working with here. Also good opportunity to check for damage. Like you can see here, these wheels have really been through it. These Long Island winter roads are definitely not kind on your wheels, and that's one of the other big benefit of having two sets, is you can kind of have one that you don't really mind if you hit a pothole with it or something like that in the winter, and then you've got your really nice ones for the summer. So after a similar inspection that we did on the front side of the wheel, having done it on the back, we're going to come in with the same order of operation, starting with the iron remover. Then we're going to come in with the tar remover and a plastic razor blade, see if we can get some of that, and then just a regular wheel and tire cleaning, and then we're going to get everything dried.
She got me in a hypnosis.
Right away, you can see, as I suspected, right along the edges here, we're getting a lot of metal deposits that are being picked up. So what the chemical is actually doing, what this purple reaction indicates, is that metal is present, and the chemical itself is actually speeding up the oxidation process, and it's breaking that metal down into smaller and smaller particles so that it'll be easier to clean. Nice one there. So something you can do when you're using an iron remover, especially if the wheels are maybe really dirty on the outward facing part and the iron or whatever metal deposits are really stubborn, is you can let that dwell and then agitate it with the wheel brush. But because these are, you know, my winter wheels, and I'm not super concerned about them looking perfect, I just want to get them cleaned and prepped, I skipped doing any type of like agitation with the iron remover. But I am going to come in and just kind of feel, and unlike the front part of the wheel where I didn't really feel anything, the backs are a totally different story. You can feel a ton of texture here. A lot of it is like pitting and chipping deep within the wheels, but there are some other spots where it might actually be a little bit of a buildup of tar or something like that. So I am going to spray Tar-X on the back part of the wheel and the barrel and these back lips here, and give that some time to dwell. That stuff I do like to agitate either with my finger or some type of sponge if I really need to. And sometimes I even let that sit a little bit longer than I would the iron remover. But nonetheless, I'm going to pick this up here, and we'll get this applied, and we'll see what happens. If anything is there, it has a similar reaction to the iron remover. Instead of turning purple, however, it just kind of disintegrates what's there and dissolves it, and you get this sort of like black, streaky runoff. So we'll spray this on there, we'll let it dwell for a little bit, and we'll see what happens.
She act like she know me, and I'm playing along. Now she act like she want me.
Tar-X doesn't just target like road tar specifically, it's also great for tree sap, and it's great for adhesives too. So as I'm doing this, I want to be sure that I'm getting these areas that have the old wheel weight adhesive soaked pretty thoroughly, in addition to all the other parts of the wheel that I'm doing normally. So you can actually see right here, this right here is some tar stuck to the wheel, and you can see that streak below it. As you can see, as I wipe over it, it's starting to break that little bit down. So dwell time definitely is recommended when you're using something like the tar remover. If it was a really sunny day, you obviously want to be mindful of the sun. You don't want to use it in direct sunlight. You don't want to give it time to dry on the wheels. But definitely let it start to break this stuff down. Now what I'm actually going to do is grab something off the cart here. And this is a plastic razor blade. And so I'm going to start to work this razor blade along these edges where I had this adhesive, and start to take some of this adhesive off while the Tar-X has a little bit more time to dwell.
If she pushing up on me, and she like karaoke, so she singing along. She went for me slowly. If she pushing up on me, and she act like she know me, and I'm playing along. Now she act like she want me. If she pushing up on me, and she like karaoke, so she singing along. She got me in a hypnosis. She got me in a hypnosis.
One eternity later.
All right, so I got one wheel down here that took quite a bit of time and effort, probably more effort than needs to be put into any of these wheels or any of your wheels if they're just like a dirty winter set that you're going to be kicking around in like the snow and mud in. But all things considered, it's actually much better now. Pretty happy with that result there. I am going to turn the camera off and just knock these three out. I'm trying to beat a little bit of rain out here, and so once we get all three of these, sort of wheel weight leftover adhesives removed, I'm going to do my wash with the wheel brightener and the degreaser on the tires, rinse them, dry them, and then they're going inside. Next time I see you guys, we will be getting ready to put the coating on. All right, guys, so Jesse here, and at this point in the video, we're going to be switching to a voiceover because I have just discovered that the volume is too low to work with. This is a problem I had in my last video. I did some troubleshooting. I thought I sorted it out before recording this one, and some of the earlier clips, although not great, sounded much better, so I thought I might have figured it out, but apparently not. The good news is I have figured out what the problem actually was. I have corrected it. We won't have to worry about this in any of the upcoming videos. But like I said, from here on out, it's going to be a voiceover while we get these wheels prepped, coated, and all wrapped up. So the final part of this process before coating is panel prep. All right, the glass parency panel prep that I'm using here on a microfiber towel ensures that there's no leftover cleaning products or chemicals or polishing residue or anything like that on the surface, to ensure that you get proper adhesion and bonding out of the coating. And when you get that, everything else follows. You get better protection, you get better durability, you get better hydrophobics. Everything that the coating is supposed to do does it better when you take that extra step there. So it's a quick pass over the outward-facing spokes of the wheel as well as the inner barrel. And then as you can see here, I've got the glass parency graphene coating ready for application. This is a 3-year paint coating, all right? But I use it on the wheels because the wheels from the factory have a clear coat finish. And since these coatings are designed to go over the car's clear coat, it fits in this application as well. As far as the 3-year durability, yeah, great stuff. I'm not concerned about it because they're winter wheels and they get coated every year regardless. Some of the specific wheel coatings do tout higher temperature resistance. Definitely important, especially for front wheels, which are by the engine, and just wheels in general that are by the brakes and all the heat that gets generated when you hit your brake pedal. But I just need this to last for a couple of months. I've done this in the past, and it works just fine. Now, to coat it, a couple of simple things. I use a pearl weave microfiber towel as well as one of those red Drago microfibers that you've seen throughout my videos, and also just a traditional microfiber applicator. It's a used bottle, so I want to be sure to give it a good shake and make sure that nothing is stuck to the bottom there, that it's all getting evenly mixed before the application. And then the other thing, just as a word of caution, is when you're using used bottles of ceramic coatings, is to make sure that when you pop the top on them, that you give them a good blow, right? You can use your mouth if you have compressed air, whatever. But you'll see, if you haven't done this before, that a used ceramic coating bottle starts to develop these little like crystals around the edges. You don't want them to end up on the applicator and scratch whatever surface you're ceramic coating. And again, even though I don't care as much about these wheels, whether you're doing this to wheels or paint or anything like that, if you want to be as safe as possible, just be sure to get the crystals off the edge of the rim. I'm pretty generous. I'm priming the pad here. This is to ensure that the entire pad is wet and has product on it. That helps guarantee that I get an even distribution along the surface. And then it's just quick on the spokes, on the lips, anywhere that I can reach on the outer part of the wheel. We're going to do an initial wipe with the Pearl Weave, level the coating, secondary wipe with the Drago microfiber to remove the coating, spin the wheel around, get the inner barrels in the back of the faces, and then these wheels are done. All right. So still working out some kinks with filming, but if you guys enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. If you have feedback, leave me a comment, even if you're roasting me. But subscribe, hit the notification bell, and be on the lookout for upcoming videos in the future. As always, guys, this is Jesse from Island Aesthetics. Thanks for checking in. I'll see you guys next time.